Another sad twist in the investigation of actor Matthew Perry's accidental overdose death as prosecutors reveal how the 5 people charged, including 2 of his doctors, supplied his addiction.
These defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves.
As Matthew Perry's ketamine addiction grew, he wanted more, and he wanted it faster and cheaper. That is how he ended up buying from street dealers who sold the ketamine that ultimately led to his death.
Here with more is former Federal Prosecutor Katie Cherkasky and former DEA Special Operations Director Derek Maltz. Thank you both for being with me. You know, Derek, I think I want to start with you in that a lot of psychedelics have gone through a little bit of a public renaissance in terms of image, a lot of talk about the therapeutic help. In fact, Matthew Perry wrote about that in his book, how ketamine had done a lot for him. I don't know that the downsides and the end result of what we just saw with Matthew Perry is something that a lot of people are considering today when it comes to drugs like ketamine.
Right. Thank you, Will, for having me. Yeah, club drugs have been around a long time, and unfortunately, it's very, very addictive. And these people like Matthew Perry that have access to a lot of money, I mean, obviously, these dirty doctors and this ketamine queen took total advantage of him. It's another example, Will, of just greed, you know, taking over, and these poor addicted people are dying like crazy. Yeah, I mean, look what's going on right now with the fentanyl crisis. You know, started with opioid addiction coming from the doctor's office, and now we have people dropping at historic levels in America like we've never seen before. So people are being deceived to death as well, Will, because the addiction is so bad.
You know, Katie, as Derek points out, there is this side of this that is the ketamine queen, where Matthew Perry was buying drugs through a street dealer at increasingly high levels, but he was also getting them from doctors. And there's these text messages where these doctors are communicating with each other, like, how much can we get for this stuff from this moron? Apparently it's like $12 worth of ketamine. They were selling to him for $2,000. Talk to me about that side of the drug market that's coming through legitimate doctors.
Well, there is legitimate uses of ketamine. Obviously, that's how this all began for Matthew Perry. But obviously, these particular doctors knew very well that he was addicted. They even documented that in text messages and continued to supply him with very dangerous quantities of these drugs and allowed it to be administered in a way that's not authorized. So that has nothing to do with the legitimate use of these drugs in a very controlled setting. But of course, this is a warning to anybody that is legitimately dispensing these drugs that this can obviously go down a slippery slope very quickly.
Derek, is it known, like, ketamine? It's a, as Katie points out, it's got a real use in a hospital environment. I know members of my family have used it as, I think doctors use it often as a painkiller, you know, because it affects memory. You don't remember things that you've gone through, so you don't remember the pain that you might have experienced during surgery. But is ketamine chemically addictive? Like, I know Matthew Perry had huge addiction problems, but once he went down the hole of starting to use ketamine, is it the kind of drug, it's like heroin or any other? You need more, you start chasing it?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but apparently it is very addictive. It's been around for a while. Obviously, fentanyl's taking the headlines every day in this country, but unfortunately, mental illness, depression, anxiety, pain, is going on all over the country. So people are turning to drugs for help. And unfortunately, the services in America for mental illness and this type of addiction is just not really helping. So they're going to the street drugs, and that's what happened in this case, right? I mean, think about it. They found 79 vials of this, ketamine in the ketamine queen house during the search warrant. But Will, I want to just say one last thing. I really applaud the work of law enforcement in the Los Angeles community. I mean, look how quickly they put together this case, and look at how, like, we already have like 3 or 4 people that have pled guilty. So they created an awesome case. The U.S. attorney prosecuted it. Now we need them to face maximum justice, because these doctors should be held to a higher standard. We have to make sure America knows that if you're killing people with these drugs, and you're taking advantage of them, nothing's worse, Will. So they have to be
really quickly, Katie.
They have to feel the accountability.
Thank you, Derek. Really quickly, Katie, I'm over time, but those doctors, what are they looking at for their future?
Well, they're facing hefty jail sentences here, and obviously that has nothing to do with their licenses, which are going to be out the window as well.
Right.
But they took great advantage of the situation for their personal profit.
Yeah. All right, Derek Maltz, Katie Cherkasky, always good to have you. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.